Yes, my name is Martina Monroe and I live in Vallejo.
What do you think about money going to GVRD for youth? How do you think Measure P money for youth and families should be spent? Because there's plenty of money.
Well, I've always been rooting for Boys and Girls Club.
Yes.
Like when are we actually gonna get that together? Because like I said, Napa has plenty of Boys and Girls Clubs and we can't get one.
Yeah.
And I know, like you said, with the nonprofits, they provide after school programming, and just these kids they really need something to do. So, like you said, it's not all about you know, just having the kids, pay for something that, the tax money should already, cover.
Exactly. Exactly.
It just they really need to hear us, and I just feel like they're just doing what they want to do,
Yeah.
and it's not like progressing at all. It's not really helping our kids, just on school days, when it's no school days, it's like, what are they doing on the days off?
Yeah.
And when I grew up, the Boys and Girls Club was always open, and literally, if I didn't feel like, I wanted to go outside, I'll go straight to the Boys and Girls Club because it's somewhere was safe. I can still have fun. I can learn something. We can get on computers. I just feel so strong about, getting that done. Numbers and the money, to see where we could, get this money gathered up so we can provide a Boys and Girls Club for our children.
And so at the Boys and Girls Club, did people know you?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, yeah. And so like when you came in after school and all that, I mean, were there people to ask you how your day was?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
all the time. And like it was sort of kind of like, how Jamila
Yes.
had her building set up, like
Yeah.
she had different rooms.
Yeah.
But the only thing I feel like she was missing was, a big gym or something, because that's when all the kids can come together and really play games, get to know each other. It was just
Well, yeah. And
we
I
had
mean, unfortunately, she hadn't, there would have been that, if she hadn't been struggling
right.
to keep it going. And yeah, they would have been that would have been something for
Yeah.
us to work on, to build on it. But something I want to focus on, that I would like you to talk about, as so far as your childhood and
Mhm.
somebody that's a parent. So, okay, your tax money is going to get a 50% scholarship toward their classes, and parents need to go down there and provide some sort of proof of income and where they live, like, your heating bill, whatever. So it's like, all right, well, forget you unhoused, and just everything. And
Right.
so
It's
can
like
you
too
talk
deep in
about,
our business, it's
well,
like you guys are not, like you're not like Section 8, or you're not,
yes,
dealing with food stamps and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, we shouldn't provide that. When I was young, I know my mom did have to fill out an application, but it was
so
basic.
like when you were a kid, if you'd brought home this form, would your mom have, all the different reasons, would that have been like a pain for your parents, or how would that have been when you were a child?
It was, well, the application was very simple.
Yeah.
It was just my name and my parents' name. Where do I live? I didn't
They
have to
didn't need
really.
to fill out stuff about their income.
Right. No, no, none of that. It was a fee waiver. That was something that they can just waive the fee,
Yeah.
that we were actually there in the neighborhood. And that was about it. Like I said, they had their around Christmas time, they had their what you call it, oh God, the tree,
Yeah.
I'm talking about, where the
Yes.
kids get the presents and
Yes.
stuff. Yeah, they had those. We didn't even really had to show income and stuff like that. It was just the angel tree, and it was just for us. You know, they know where we're in the building. It was really easy. It wasn't even complicated.
I
You
mean,
know, it was hard for me growing up having a voice, you know, and now that I do have one, you know, I want to be that person where other, you know, young black mothers look at and was like, you know, if she did it, I know I could do it too. Right, right. And it's like you said, it's supposed to go towards, you know, what we need. We mostly know what,
you
you know,
do.
our children need, especially
Yes.
like I said, I don't want Dina to be in Vallejo just walking around. I need a program for her to go to. You know, like I said, it'd be amazing, you know, once we get a Boys and Girls Club, because all the kids, you know, and I know some kids, you know, we they don't collab together, you know, but hey, that happened when I was young too, you know, a kid getting a fighter here or two, but they have counselors there, you know, there's you know, they can get suspended, but you know, I don't think I ever got suspended from a Boys and Girls Club, but my friends have. And it was so crazy because every time I'll be on the phone with them, oh, I can't wait to come back. Oh, I missed this. I
Exactly.
can't believe I did that, you know? And
Exactly.
that's what kind of environment we need to, you know, provide for our children, you know, just that kind of vibe, you know, is yeah, you mess up, but you see how good it is once you know, you get
Exactly.
offended, you be wanting to run back and oh, I'm sorry, Miss this, Miss Kim, or my husband was even frustrated when they did the little basketball situation, and at first it was no basketball because he did we walked all the way to Vallejo High School, and he tried to open the door and the door was locked. So, you know, it was kind of crazy, but it took Ramona to, you know, do it. But I seen those kids have fun. I was like, look at them
Yeah.
kids over there. You know, I'm not hearing no bad stuff.
Yeah.
She opened her gym. That's what kids want. They love basketball,
Yeah.
you know, and they love something to do, especially when you could go out and make friends that you ain't never seen or, you know, spoke to before, but we all live in Vallejo, you know. They like we keep saying, they just want to do their own thing, and it's like we're trying to create an environment for the kids, you know, to actually learn and to, you know, achieve, and you know, just come together and, you know, just do fun stuff. And if they need a little study time, we have a computer room for them, you know, like I said, just like Jamila did. I just felt like she was on to that center for us, you know, because I was like, oh my
So,
god, I finally got somewhere, you know, where when Dina get a little older, you know, she can go to the little center and stuff. And we know what it looked like, you know, we know how it feels, you know, when we, especially when we in
yes.
those environments, and we just trying to share so you guys can finally open your eyes like, you know what, maybe we need to try this.
Yeah.
We'll
And
go straight to the back, and if they have all these computers, I'm talking about, we'll just be over there drawing, but still we're in that space where, you know, if a kid's like, dang, you know, I need some help, or I remember when MySpace came out, they helped me with a MySpace account, and I was like, you know, like, hey, I ain't never met you before, but I know you be in here running around, you know. But it's just it's just that type of environment. I just know that we could do. Nonprofits already do it, you know, especially Jamila.
exactly.